Hey scholars, Professor Denham here. Hope you're all doing well. So this is a video to explain the PowerPoint on grades. So if you don't have it yet open, go ahead and open up the PowerPoint that's right next to this video on this module of grading criteria. The first PowerPoint slide is grades are like the stack of pancakes. Um, so you don't have to take notes on this, but I encourage all of you to take notes on this for your own benefit to help you understand the way I grade. So a lot of students have asked me over the years, how do you grade this thing? How do you grade that thing? I've had college students tell me how their professors grade their papers and assignments and whatnot. And there's no one correct way to grade. So I also recommend that you just review the brief definitions of the different grading tiers that are listed on the syllabus. A represents mastery of course material and so on and so forth. Those are just basic, kind of stock descriptions of different grading categories. But I like food, and a lot of people will learn better from understanding how things are related to other things. So I'm going to use a food analogy to help you understand kind of the concept of grading, or specifically at least the way that I see grading. Sort of like it's like my psychology of grading. So when you start out in a class like this, it's a 1,000-point based course. You start out with 0 points. In other words, you don't start with an A and then you get dinged. You start out with nothing and you work your way up to different grades for each assignment. Just like cooking, if you're going to make something like pancakes, you start with nothing. Then you go to the store and you buy ingredients, you bring them home, you assemble them, etc., etc. So that's kind of the analogy. So when it comes to the way I grade assignments in this class, I always look at the big picture. I grade holistically. I don't necessarily say, -2 points there, -1 point here, so on and so forth. Again, you start out with nothing, and then I observe your work, whether it's a speech or an assignment or a paper or an outline or something like that. I read through it, I evaluate it, and then I assign a holistic grade, like overall, as this assignment, as it relates to the assignment description, as it relates to the different understandings of different grade categories of A, B, C, D, and F. This assignment is which category does it fit? It fits into an A, B, C, D, and F. So look at the pancake PowerPoint. That would be a pancake fail. So the first one is a fail. That's an F. I mean, if you look at like the description of what it means to make pancakes, that's probably not it. In other words, it far below, or it far exceeds below the minimum requirements. It's more than below average. It's burnt. It's broken apart. It's not cooked all the way, right? It's a pancake fail. Hopefully that helps you understand it a little bit. The next one is below average, right? Look at that pancake. It's not a fail. It looks like it's cooked all the way through. It's not burnt. It's very well done. So it's below average, right? That's below the average of what I would expect to see if you said, hey, you want some pancakes. I'd eat that and I probably wouldn't complain, but I'd be like, well, it's below average. And then you have average Bisquick pancakes. If you don't know what Bisquick is, that's probably because you were born sometime after 1990. Bisquick was pancake mix. You could take water. You could take like a cup of water, mix it with this powder, and there you go. You got pancakes. Very easy, right? Very average. Anybody could do it. It gets the job done. It's average. It's still a pancake. Nothing wrong with it, but it's average. Going along with the analogy, that's C, that's average. How might I take a very simple dish and make it just slightly above average? What would you do to make these average stack of pancakes slightly above average? What would you do? Think about it for 5 seconds. Add some whipped cream or strawberries or blueberries or something like that. Powdered sugar on top, right? Just a little extra effort, right? Just a little bit better than average. That's a C plus, right? Bisquick pancakes with blueberries or whipped cream or something like that. Okay, and then the other one next one you see blueberry buttermilk pancakes. So maybe this is like a homemade recipe. Blueberry buttermilk sounds pretty good, right? That's better than average, right? If Bisquick is average, if that's the benchmark for average, then homemade blueberry buttermilk pancakes, that's above average. And depending on your palate and depending on your preference for pancakes, you might say that's excellent. But for me, what I'm telling you is the way that my palate works, the way my brain works for, let's say, food, that'd be above average. Again, maybe a B plus would be something a little extra on top, powdered sugar, whipped cream, etc. Okay, so the next one. The last one, that's excellent, right? You say, hey, come to my house for pancakes, and you end up making these delicious homemade pumpkin cinnamon streusel pancakes with real pumpkin puree in the pancake mix. You have this like delicious sugary buttery topping and this imported butter from maybe Holland or something like that. You know, top of the line syrup. That's excellent. That's in the AA plus category. Like A plus, knock my socks off, right? Like that's A plus is like excellent. It's more than excellent. It's like knock your socks off. So that's what one way to think about excellent. So hopefully this doesn't scare you, but it helps you kind of understand the way that I look at grades. If you're thinking, oh my gosh, it's going to be impossible to get an A, that's not the case. I'll have a set of, you know, with every assignment that we do, I have the instructions. You know, if there's 3 questions you need to answer, well, you need to answer all 3 questions. If there's 10 things you need to answer, you got to answer all 10. If you answer half of them and they're excellent, well, then you can't get an excellent for the whole grade. So I always look at the big picture. I'm confident to say that I'm a very fair grader, and it's certainly not impossible to get an A in the class. I assign A's where A's are due. If students' work earns an A, then I assign an A to the work. And again, I mentioned this before, like the whole concept of maybe taking grades personal. It's not personal; it's just business. I look at the work that's submitted, and then I see like which category does this fit in? What pancake is this? Like that's kind of like that's not what I'm actually thinking, but I'm trying to get you to understand the way I think. Where does this work fit into this category of grading? So that's my approach to grading. Of course, you have rubrics. I'll have rubrics with certain assignments that'll tell you like specifically what I'm looking for. Of course, the assignment specifics will have details on like the specific things that you need to do for that assignment. Submitting things on time, make sure you submit things on time. If the deadline is 11:59 p.m., that means you need to be submitted before the deadline. But I'll be keeping you on track with other things like deadlines and individual assignments. As I mentioned before, I'll have small videos for most assignments. But that's the way I grade. Hopefully you found this useful, and hopefully you're doing well. Talk to you later. Bye.